where did you meet Besser McKay? You mentioned
around that era at the Roxy. I met Besser first, and then McKay when he came to town. I knew his friend Rick Roman, and at that point I had started taking Improv Olympic right around the same time.
Oh, okay. So you started IO classes.
I started IO, and then Besser I think came to Chicago, and then we met at the Roxy, and I think he hilariously gave me sketches because he said, "Oh, you're good. I want to read this. Maybe we can do something." I'm like, "Okay." And then, of course, I never read them.
Oh, wow.
And then, but we ended up working together because he was like always there, and he was funny, and I thought he was really good. So we ended up like shooting videos together. And then McKay came through this guy Rick Roman, and then Ian came through. I forget how I met Ian. I don't remember. I met Ian at my apartment. We had a apartment party, and that's how I met Ian. And then
the old apartment party.
Yeah. And then Amy came a year later or something like that.
So you didn't take any classes with any of these guys at IO? I thought you guys were all in the same classes at some point.
No, I was a little before those guys at IO.
Okay.
So they all took classes together. And then, but I did shows with UCB in the early days. And it was like a collection of, 6 to 8 people with a slightly rotating cast.
Right.
So,
but it came from the family. Were you in the family? Or
no.
Am I okay?
UCB kind of precedes the family. Technically.
Oh, it does.
It does. It was like being performed at little clubs like the Roxy or There's a joint called Sheffield's where it was like me, McKay, Horatio,
right,
and Besser. We were already starting to do things, and then we did a show at Cafe Voltaire where I think we called ourselves the Upright Citizens Brigade. So the name came out there, but the real group pursuit was pretty much Ian and Besser. Like they kept it alive. They literally carried the banner for whatever show.
Right, right.
And I went in and out because I was doing shows at the Annoyance and like Improv Olympic a little bit.
What was the origin of that name? I don't think I asked Besser that.
My take on that is that we were doing sketches at a place called the Roxy, and we would do really like we would kind of mock improv. We would say we need a reason to kick a homeless person, like for suggestions. So there'd be 5 of us on stage, and it would be like, okay, I need a reason. I need a tuber. I need a candidate for president that didn't win from the 1800s. Like totally challenging, audience unfriendly, weird stuff. And then after we had all our suggestions, we would do basically like a fake fight and like kill each other. Like,
okay.
Totally.
Great opening.
Yeah, totally like disrespectful of the slot and just aggressive. And then at the end of it, in sort of pretending like we had done something profound, we would always say things like, "Thank you, we have been citizens for social justice."
Sure.
And somewhere in there,
it morphed into.
I remember the name that way. That's where the name came out of.
Right. So it's sort of the opposite of what you were doing.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
That's my take. Yeah.
I like that.
And then it was used, that was like the inspiration, but it was used for like a virtual reality show where we were pretending that a nefarious group called the Upright Citizens Brigade was funding our show.
Right.
So then it became a reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I was there when UCB Sunset opened, and I remember you notoriously saying, I never envisioned us selling grilled panini sandwiches. I don't know if you remember that. It was like the opening of UCB Sunset, and I was interning. It was like one of my first internships. And you're like, when we were in Chicago, I never pictured selling grilled panini sandwiches. Do you guys ever sit back and take a step back and think of what you did and how you changed the landscape? I mean, how many lives you've changed?
I think in the recent era of the Sunset and Western stage, like I take people on tours like family members, and I'm very proud of the little junior college we've created.
Right.
So in moments like that, when there's like this physical space that we built and turned into classes in theater and a cafe and 2 theaters and editing suites, like that was a moment for me where I sort of like took in the impact, because it was like a physical thing that you couldn't ignore. But
sure,
oftentimes people want you to like grandstand and talk about how great, because they kind of want you to take credit for like, Zach Woods or Donald Glover,
right.
Or like, and it's like, I don't know if like Zach Woods wouldn't have been amazing if he didn't like a guy like that is amazing. Like I'm happy that he came through UCB, etc. But like in a way, I don't take credit for anybody who came through.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, do you think Del Close would have said the same thing? And yet all you guys say the same thing about Del, how he changed your lives?
I guess. I don't know. It's kind of... nobody wants to hear a blowhard talk about how great they are.
Totally. And Besser felt the same way. But I feel like you guys got to at least... in the back of your minds, even in the most humblest corner, you got to think, wow,
there are
I've
landmarks
influenced a ton of people.
When I go to the marathon this year, it'll be like the 17th or 18th year
The
that
DCM
we're
in New York,
Del Close Marathon in New York, that we're doing the marathon. That's like mind blowing. Like, because every year it's just a dumb choice to like, we'll do a 72-hour festival. And we'll bring our friends, and then all of a sudden kids and it's more the explosion too, in sync with our success. There's been a real improv renaissance, or discovery, people from Tokyo and Finland and Puerto Rico and
everywhere.
South America, in addition to kids learning improv and touring for 4 years in college. It's crazy. The explosion of improv is crazy. So in conjunction with that, we don't get credit for that. That was just
maybe you should.
An evolution.
Not to beat a dead horse, but maybe you should.
No, I don't think so. I think it was just an art form that people were hungry for, and comedy in general has sort of hit a boom too.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.